Hey, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be teaching you how to make a platformer on Scratch. This is my first tutorial. I don't even need an introductory. But by the way, thanks to Mystic Game for the game assets. So I think I should get started without any further ado. So we can go to our backdrop sprite. When you go to Mystic Game Assets, you can check out his projects, game assets, and this is it. I just designed a thumbnail myself. You can do that too. If you have a thumbnail, like you designed your thumbnail, you can go to your thumbnail sprite. This isn't compulsory. It's only compulsory for people who have a thumbnail. So you bring out a when green flag clicked, and then you bring out show, and so that it can appear at the front of the screen of the player's view, and then you make sure it goes to the front layer so it will be in front of every other thing that is at the back of it. Every other thing in Scratch will be at the back of our thumbnail. So make sure it goes to the front layer, and then we make a variable. I'm gonna call mine um ghost effect, and make sure it's for this sprite only, and then you can click on OK. So we set the ghost effect to 0, and then go to control and then grab a forever loop. So what do we want to keep happening forever? So we are going to what we want to keep happening forever is that the ghost effect, the looks ghost effect, will be set to the variable ghost effect. So we're just defining the variable ghost effects. The variable ghost effect means the looks ghost effect. They are the same thing. So we bring out a change ghost effect by 1, and then we put it inside a when green flag clicked, and then we bring out a repeat until block, and then go to operator section and type equals to 100 or anything greater than 100, your choice. So repeat until ghost effect equals to 100, and when we smash that green flag, we see it fades. But what happens when we remove the set ghost effect to 0? It just simply hides. Let's pretend like we just made it a variable. So the variable will be set to 0. So when we click on a green flag, we can see it fades again. That starts when the ghost effect is set to 0, because since it's already set to 100, there's no point in it fading. Scratch just makes it disappear. So we bring out it inside a when green flag click, show go to front layer, set ghost effect to 0. We shouldn't put it inside forever loop, and then boom. Now we have a cool fading system for our game. So we go to the player sprite, bring out a when green flag clicked block, and then we want it to go to the center of the screen. The center of the screen is Scratch. Any position in Scratch is represented by X and Y. The center of the screen in Scratch is represented by 0, X0 and Y0. So if we make it go to X0 and Y0, it appears here, the center of the screen. This may not look as the center to you, but it is the center. So let's make it -12. Nothing really happens. And then make sure it's change X by -23, and then when we click on it, our position becomes here, and then change Y by 10, and then go to x minus 58 and y 60. We put that under the when green flag clicked block. So it will be at the top of the screen. So we go back to the thumbnail sprites. Under that repeat until block, we can broadcast a message. You can call it anything you want. I'm going to call mine game on, and then you can just click on OK or enter. So broadcast game on, and I'll go to our player sprite. When I receive game on, then what do we want it to do? When it receives game on, we want it to make sure it does all the movement script and stuff, all the player physics. So we're going to make a block, and we're going to call this block, you can call this block anything you want, but I'm going to call my player physics because it represents the player's physics. So make sure to click on run without screen refresh and then OK. So define player physics. So and then we put in forever player physics. When we want it to do a forever player physics. Player physics was created by the user, so it has no meaning. So what do we do to define it? It has to have a meaning for the code to run. So the only way we can define it is by, if you look at this define player physics block, you can see that you can put other blocks under it, like move 10 steps. But anything that you put under it, is the meaning of this block. If you put move 10 steps under define player physics, then player physics simply means move 10 steps. So we can put this back inside, and then we'll bring out an if statement, and then key right arrow pressed. What would we want to happen? We make a variable, call it x. Make sure you click on for this sprite only, and make another variable, call it y. Make sure you click on for this sprite only. You can just hide these two variables by clicking on these sticks. So we want it that when you click on the green flag, the x and the y will be set normally. Our variable x and our variable y. So we can just start afresh. So set x to 0 and set y to 0. Well, that's the English I'll say. So forever, sorry, we don't this there's actually a forever loop right here. Forever player physics. Because this player physics means if you write out press, then since it means anything that is under defined player physics. So if key right arrow pressed, change x by 1, and then we can duplicate this statement and then release. So if key left arrow press, change x by -1. So we will set the x, what the x will be whatever the x is multiplied by 0.89. We'll set when we move our sprites, the x will change, so the x will be different. So we'll set the x to whatever the x is multiplied by 0.89, and then we bring this out, change x by 10, and then bring out our x block. So when we click on the green flag again, we see when we move right and left, nothing happens. So we add this change x by 10 block. It only moved right. Now we try to make it move left, but it doesn't move left even when you click on the left arrow. So to fix that problem, we can just add our x variable right in here, and then boom, now we have some smooth movement right and left right there. So we are going to bring out an if statement touching ground, then what do we want it to do? We want it to change its y position by 1. We aren't talking about the variable y anymore. We're talking about the y position. So we want it to move up, not that type of up. So we can duplicate it, and then we have to make 6 duplicates. So there's 1, 2, and then duplicates, and then finally duplicates. We have 7 versions of this. You must have 7 versions of this. 1, 2, 3. We can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 only. So if touching ground, I want to change y by -1 for the last one only. So we bring out a change x position by 10, and then we go to the operators and then put in a multiplying block, and then inside the second part we add um -1, -1 rather. So which will change the x position by whatever the variable x is multiplied by -1. So after this, what do we want it to do next? We make it sure it's change its y position by y. So we move up to the screen and then add change y by -1. So forever to keep changing its y by -1. So we bring out another if statement touching ground. Then again, what do we want it to do? Make sure it changes its y position by y times -1, and it should also set its y to 0. And then bring out another if statement, and then we bring out and block. So if we just click on the green flag, we see what happens. Our sprite can move, but it can't jump. So we do if key up arrow pressed, then it should set our variable y to 15, and then when we click on the up arrow, it jumps really high, and even when it doesn't reach the ground, it can still jump high. It's like a Flappy Bird game, but that's not what we want for our platformer. I'm going to post a Flappy Bird tutorial another time, hopefully. So and that's not what we want for our platformer. And by the way, the jumping is very light, so it's supposed to be if it's also touching the platforms, but it isn't even touching the platforms. Like an example, see right here, we can see it's touched the platforms, but when you click on the up arrow, it doesn't still work. So to fix that, we can draw a sprite, a purple one, and then any color actually. So we can just copy this ground sprite and then go to our sprite one and then paste. So we bring out a new sprite, and then we can just go ahead and do this. You can just increase the top a little, and then done. Make sure it's the exact same size, and then when you click on back, it's really the exact same size, and then you can just delete delete, delete, delete. But we don't want this to show. But if it doesn't show, the script won't work. So what are we going to do now? We are going to bring a when green flag clicked. We are going to make it set its ghost effect to 100. So when a ghost effect is set to 100, you can't even see it at all. So we never even want this to show. Make sure you go to the back layer so that even when you click on the stop sign, you still not be able to see this. And then we go back to the player sprite, and then we make sure it's if it's up arrow, if touching ground, not ground anymore, if touching sprite 1 and key up arrow press, then set Y to 15. And now when you click on the green flag, you can jump and move the sprite. And that's the end of part 1 of this tutorial of making a simple platformer on Scratch. And I will be posting the next tutorial very, very soon. Bye.